Good morning, and we are in a new week, and we are going to be talking about all things must be done in order. Doctrine and Covenants 27:28. So here we are in these. Let's just read what it says. So Revelation was still relatively new concept for the saints. As the restoration continued to unfold, early church members knew that the prophet Joseph Smith could receive revelation from the church, but could others? Questions like this became critical when Hiram Page, one of the 8 witnesses of the gold plates, believed he had received revelations for the church. Many faithful saints believed that these revelations were from God. The Lord responded by teaching that in His church, all things must be done in order. This meant having only one person appointed to receive commandments and revelations for the entire church. Others, however, could receive personal revelation for their part in the Lord's work. In fact, the words to Oliver Cowdery are a reminder to all of us. It shall be given thee what thou shalt do. I think it's really significant in this moment that we understand that the church was young and people were excited about all the gifts of the Spirit, and especially the gift of revelation. A lot of people, Oliver Cowdery himself has had many revelations to Joseph through Joseph Smith, saying, "Yeah, use your gift, use your." He had an experience where apparently he saw the plates before he met Joseph Smith in a dream or a vision, and that was, I believe, the same time when when Joseph Smith was given Oliver Cowdery a revelation that says, "Cast your mind back to a time. Did I not speak peace to your heart at that time?" So obviously, it's not saying you don't have revelation, but the difference is the church needed one voice for the revelations for the church, and then we have an opportunity to have revelation as well, for our own callings and so forth. And I think it's well understood in the church today how we all receive revelation. We can receive revelation for our own callings in the church, where and those things can be in conjunction with what we already have in the scriptures and in the church given by the prophets. And I think that's significant, and I have in my own callings felt that promptings and things that we should do in certain ways. And there's times when I've had church leaders whom I have felt their inspiration and knew that they were speaking the mind and will of God in their callings, within their things, bishops and so forth. But none of it would be contrary to what the Lord's prophet has spoken, and none of it ever was. It was given them what they needed for their calling in their place, and never contradicted what was given in the scriptures and by the prophet themselves. And I think that's significant. And it was something that we needed to learn in this early church, because other people found it that they could do that. Not this. All things must be done in order. Also gives a few insights in that. First, we've heard probably that Oliver Cowdery did kind of try to censor Joseph Smith in a few things. I command you in the name of God to erase those words, that no priestcrafts be among us. And so you're going, well, obviously he had a lot of passion in this. What was it that Joseph Smith had written that caused such an alarm to Oliver Cowdery? And so it was about the Articles of the Church of Christ. And when Joseph Smith had a second document where he added a few things and changed a few things. One of the things that was changed is this about baptism: and truly manifest by their works that they have received of the Spirit of Christ unto the remission of their sins. Obviously, for Oliver, that seemed too much like priestcraft, although we today in the church see it as how we look and we prepare people for baptism. Obviously, it was back then for Oliver that seemed different. So you can see how he can do that. And Joseph takes a while to actually show that that was the way that the Lord would, that it was from the Lord. But it seemed that was the case, and he had to talk for several things. And then the lesson, however, does not seem to have been easily learned. Within months, Joseph again needed to assert his authority and mouthpiece. Persecution around his home in Harmony had forced Joseph and Emma to take up residence with the Whitmers in August 1830. Upon arriving, Joseph found Hiram Page, the husband of one of the Whitmers' daughters, had used the stone to receive 2 revelations concerning the church. And apparently Zion itself so he talks with them, and we will get further into this, but Oliver Cowdery, basically he realizes, I need to talk to Oliver. He's the second elder in the church, and he does. And the revelation addressed to Oliver Cowdery, Oliver was assured his voice would be heard, but was warned that no one shall be appointed to receive commandments and revelations in the church excepting my servant Joseph, for he receiveth them as Moses. And thou shalt be obedient unto the things which I shall give unto him. And it's the way that it's been done in the Bible, in the Book of Mormon, and throughout history. So it's not anything new. But as the church is growing, they're trying to work out how this actually looks. And even though it says that the church would be, that revelations given to Joseph Smith was given to the whole church, while other people wouldn't. It also says in there, until another shall be appointed in his stead. Now, he probably didn't realize at that time that meant that when he died, but he would later on. The subject of the stone above mentioned was discussed, and after considerable investigation, Brother Page, as well as the whole church who were present, renounced the said stone and all things connected therewith, much to our mutual satisfaction and happiness. But you know what? It still continues, and it just talks about a woman by the name of Hubble, who claimed her own revelations. And once again, in there, it's Doctrine and Covenants 43, so we'll get to there when it happens. But you see that it's just a continual thing, and we still at it today. I remember growing up, we had a group that had built a mine near our place in Spanish Fork. I could see it from our house very clearly. And that mine was apparently somebody had a revelation that this was going to make the church rich, because they were going to find, I think is either silver or gold deposits in the mountains, our mountains. And they started to dig, and they dug for years. I don't even know. From what I understand, they've stopped. But they dug for years and quite a few miles and never really reached any of that. I got to visit it once, not like a tourist or anything. They had some orchards up there that at the time I was working with a company that did refrigeration, and they need to look at their refrigeration. I was quite fascinated by the whole place, but it was one place where it was like, well, if you think it's good for the church, it's not, because it's not going to happen. And it didn't. And other people thought that the church should go to California. I don't know if any of them thought that they had revelation on that. But again, Brigham Young said, this is the place. This is where we're supposed to be. And it's proved to be exactly what he said. So I'm all for listening to the prophets, and I've seen it happen over and over again, that as we listen to the prophet, things happen for our good. And I hope things happen for your good today, and we'll see you tomorrow.